The men's ice hockey team are national champions, and tonight on Bobcat Breakdown, we will discuss the show successfully claim the title as national champs and what this means to Quinnipiac University as a whole. That more starting right now. Welcome to Bobcat Breakdown. I'm your host, Brittany Brown-Lieben. Alongside me is Andrew Reynolds and associate producer of this very show, Michael Singer. For this show, we thought it was only right to dedicate it all to men's ice hockey after they became national champions. How are you guys feeling tonight?
I'm excited to talk hockey. Awesome championship for this team. I'm excited to discuss it with you, see what we disagree with here.
You know, I'm so happy to be here. Two great hockey minds at the desk, and hey, we got a national championship to discuss.
That's right.
Awesome, guys. Let's get started. But before we start the debate, let's take a look at what went down in Tampa, Florida this past weekend that allowed the Bobcats to become national champions. Roll the tape.
This place was filled quickly. Everyone on the edge of their seats or on their feet already as we are underway for the 2023 National Title game. Bobcats goes in front, score! The play over, 6-on-5, and here comes Coley. Grab better shooting, score! Face-off as they won most in the third period. Pass complete, Lipkin has a man in front, shot, score!
After watching the recap, Andrew, what is one word you would use to describe the national championship? You and Mike were both there in Tampa watching the game, so let's hear those thoughts.
So my word for this is going to be dynasty with a question mark here. I think that the word dynasty really is a question here. They're a great team. They have great coaching as in Rand Pecknold. They have the winning culture over the past 10 years where they have consistently win games after games. But from now on, it's all about consistency. Really, Quinnipiac has to look out for a resurgence in Boston College and BU, where they are going to be in the next 2 years loaded with national development players in the next few years. And you lose a few players now with Yaniv Pretz just now signing with the Carolina Hurricanes just a few minutes ago, and that being announced. Dynasty is all about the players, and I think the coaching is going to really help continue this quote-unquote dynasty that may happen within this Quinnipiac team. But at the end of the day, it really is a question mark after the word dynasty if that is going to happen.
That's a really good word. I have to go with emotional. There was, in that final game against Minnesota alone, I went through about 9 or 10 different emotions. Everyone in our section did. We were screaming at the TV, at the game itself. We were crying when they tied it up. We were crying when it won. There was random strangers hugging each other that was someone graduated from 94, someone that just graduated last year. Everyone had all the different emotions. It was such an electric atmosphere in Tampa that you really just can't put one word on it, but if you had to, it has to be emotion. They were down 2-0. They had a massive comeback, probably one of the biggest comebacks in NCAA history, especially that it was in the final like you're watching on your screen right now when Quillen got the overtime winner to put them up 3-2 and win that first NCAA championship.
Yeah, that game was incredible. Obviously, that championship game, we were both there in Tampa when it all happened. I remember I was recording the game. I was like, all right, I'm going to record this goal. Hopefully they score. And I almost missed the goal because they scored within 10 minutes, and I got the goal on video. But, when you look at this team, emotional is an okay word, but I really think that when you look at this team and what they've accomplished over these 10 years, making the Frozen Four and the championship game three times, it really is, dynasty really is a good word to describe this team. But obviously, like I said, with a question mark, because you don't know what the next 10 years are going to look like after this championship win, where you're losing players after winning a national championship to the NHL as well as the minor leagues as well.
I do think a dynasty is a very good answer. Don't want to put the cart before the horse, though. I don't want you to be wrong.
Oh, no. That's why I have a question mark there, because I don't know if it's going to be a dynasty, but,
All right, guys. Well, I thought you guys both picked great words. After the game, head coach Rand Pecknold spoke about this team's performance and what this win means to Quinnipiac. Let's take a listen seconds after history was made.
Now you're going to hang that banner at your home rink. What does it feel like for you right now?
I'm just trying not to cry. I don't think I can do this. Just proud. Just awesome. Sorry, I can't. I need a hug. Give me a hug.
Well, look, this is a great moment for your team. An incredible comeback win. You told us how close you are with the seniors and the leadership group. How much love do you have for this Bobcat team?
Just an awesome group, awesome culture. You know, I saw a bunch of our alums on the way over here. I bumped them in the hotel. Like, it's just, you can't put a value on what we just did for Quinnipiac University, what these boys did. It's awesome.
During most of this championship game, Minnesota had the lead until the last 3 minutes of the game. Andrew, what turned the tide for the Bobcats and gave them momentum to come back and beat Minnesota?
Well, I think that how Quinnipiac came back and won this game really is Rand Pecknold and the coaching staff. I mean, after the multiple press conferences that Rand had after that game, he credits the coaching staff for that win, assistant coaches making the plays that resulted in that overtime winning goal, as well as the goal that Graf had to tie that game. And he, like I said, he said it in the pressers, he said it in multiple interviews following the championship win. And he said that he has plays on every single one of the 9 dots that are on that sheet of ice. And he also said that goal that Graf scored, I said it already, but every single play, everything that happens on that ice is all planned. That they practice it at practice every single day as a team. And that is why they won that game in Minnesota.
I mean, what turned the tide and gave the Bobcats the momentum was that Minnesota, they got comfortable. They got comfortable being up 2-0. They fell into that Rand Pecknold trap at the end of the first period, From the second period until that third period, Quinnipiac outshot Minnesota 25-8. Minnesota almost getting at least 3 shots on per period at the least. That's insane that they fell into that Quinnipiac trap. Quinnipiac got on the penalty kill really early in the game. Minnesota went up 2-0. And ever since that first period ended, Quinnipiac, something switched in them. They turned on a different setting, as Santino Maione does say. Once you step on that ice, different mentality. In that second period, they had a different mentality. After that Tellier goal, Quinnipiac fully in the driver's seat.
Yeah, Minnesota just did not look like the number 1 team in the country. In that second period, and or halfway through, after they scored that second goal, the Minnesota fans. I said this. I mean, I remember you and I were both in Tampa for both games on Thursday. Minnesota has the most fans at every single year, even if their team is not in the Frozen Four. Those fans show up, and they were loud in the BU game. They scored 5 goals, and when you score that second goal and your team is well ahead at that point in the game, don't you think your fans are supposed to be loud? They were quiet. And Quinnipiac fans, I think that Quinnipiac's fans really put Quinnipiac in the gave the momentum to really come back in that game. And I think that's why they scored those goals. I mean, Minnesota, they didn't look like they weren't there.
All right, guys, so how did this win is going to affect Rand's legacy here at Quinnipiac?
You know what, Andrew? You got the last 2. I'll take this one.
I
I think it does add to his legacy. He's been here I'm going to round up to the nearest big number. He's been here for 30 years, 29 to be exact. And he finally got his first NCAA championship. I think this just grows the legacy of Rand Pecknold. Over the last couple of seasons, he's had the most wins as a college hockey coach, and now he finally gets that one award that hasn't been in his trophy case. He has 6 Cleary Cups. His last losing season was 2017-2018. He's coached 1,000 games, was a 3-time ECAC hockey coach. Finally, you can say that he has his first NCAA championship. It just further cements him as one of the greatest hockey coaches of all time.
Did you say his legacy is not secured?
I didn't say that it wasn't, but now 100% that there can't be any doubt.
Okay, I think that, all right, you know what I'm going to say is that his Quinnipiac legacy is secured. As an all-time coach, not yet. I think that he has the chance of becoming the caliber that both Jerry York and Jack Parker are. Jerry York being the head coach of Boston College as well as Lake Superior and Clarkson for many years, then Jack Parker, who had an incredible reign as the Boston University coach, winning multiple championships in his time. And they're both legendary coaches. I think that Rand Pecknold can get up to be one of the top 3 coaches in NCAA history.
All right, guys. So since the Bobcats were able to play in the semifinals and the championship game, how did the Bobcats' performance differ against Michigan, and Minnesota. Mike, what are your thoughts on this?
I think that the difference between the Minnesota and the Michigan game is with Michigan, they were always up. They never got down. They were either tied or in the driver's seat. With Minnesota, they played from behind. They showed the heart of a Bobcat. They took that lead 3-2, and they took the NCAA championship.
Oh, I'm going to say that Michigan, the difference between Quinnipiac's playing both games, that Quinnipiac played 60 minutes of great Quinnipiac hockey in the Michigan game, and in the Minnesota game, they did not play a full 60 minutes. They played at least 35 minutes after that Tellier goal. That's when they started to turn up the tempo, and that is what happened. Also, if you look at the Minnesota game, neither Nyes or Cooley, two Hobey Baker finalists, did not get on the score sheet in that game, which really helped Quinnipiac win that game.
All right, guys. Well, it's time to take our first break of the night, but don't go anywhere as we still have to break down more hockey. See you guys in 2 minutes.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices.
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Welcome back, and thank you for sticking with us. Let's move right back into our men's ice hockey debate. This was Quinnipiac's first time winning a national championship. Andrew, let's start with you on this one. Overall, what impact does the Bobcat winning the national championship have on Quinnipiac University as a whole?
The real question, Brittany, is what does this not affect Quinnipiac University, to be honest? I mean, winning any national championship is huge for university. I mean, you've seen it with UConn. That place was mobbed in their stadium when they had theirs. But, I mean, talking at a university standpoint, academics, stuff like that, and, winning a national champion is going to increase admission rate for students. It also especially Quinnipiac being a really small school, it puts them on the map. It promotes their positive culture, and it's beneficial for the university as they're going to get more money to fund academics, athletics, etc., and also to promote the fan experience as well at the games. Talking about kind of the player experience, Red Pecknold said that they're going to have a renovation over the summer of their locker room. It's going to be $2 million. And they also announced yesterday it's going to be named after Rand and his wife. So that's kind of cool. And I do think that, like I said, university, what does a national championship not do for university? Because it does so much.
What I really think it does is, and throughout the entire weekend, I was so sick and tired of hearing that Quinnipiac is the underdog. They were they're number two, getting way ahead of myself. They were at one point this year. At one point they were, but they were the number 2 seeded team. And people throughout the entire weekend are going, I've never heard of Quinnipiac. Where's Quinnipiac? I've never heard of them before. It finally eliminates that they're the underdog. Because just because they're playing the hockey royalty like Michigan, Minnesota, they were the number 1-2 team, and people have never heard of them. It's just insane to think that Quinnipiac being such a high seed, people have never heard of them. I keep saying people have never heard of them because it drove me absolutely insane. Because if it was a BU, a Michigan, and Minnesota, and the number 2 seed, people would have been like, oh, it's just a powerhouse. But with Quinnipiac, it was, who's Quinnipiac? Never heard of Quinnipiac. It finally is going to eliminate that underdog statement.
Yeah.
So, guys, I'm glad you guys both think overall positive. All right, Quinnipiac has had many talented hockey players to play at this university. Mike, if you had to create a Mount Rushmore of people who have allowed this team to score and become champions, who would they be and why?
Come on, Mike. Tell me who your Mount Rushmore is.
You really want to know? I'm going to tell you first. Rand Pecknold, without a doubt. You have to start with Rand the man. Most wins as a Quinnipiac head coach. I mentioned it before. His last losing season, 2017-2018. Head coach of good old United States of America, their junior team in 2023. 6 Cleary Cups. We're going to quickly move on. Odin Tufto, former captain of the Quinnipiac Bobcats for 2020-21. You're also looking at your screen. We got Yanni Peretz up there as well. And we got one of my boys, Devon Taves, Stanley Cup champion, finally put them on the map, of course, with that Stanley Cup championship. How could you not go wrong, though, with Yanni Peretz? He was the ECAC hockey goalie of the year, and he's got to be on that Mount Rushmore team.
You know, pretty solid picks. I won't agree. I will admit I have 2 of those here. First one, obviously, you said Rand Pecknold first. He's been the head coach since 1994 to now. 29 years, blood, sweat, and tears into this program. And he said this 1,000 times in interviews. I mean, he's been in so many media appearances. They said the same thing multiple times. You've heard the same story over and over again. He practiced at a public rink at midnight just to get ice time. He worked as a history teacher just to sustain a stable income. But that's it for my Rand Pecknold here. My second person is John Leahy. If you guys don't know who that is, he spent 31 years as the Quinnipiac University president from 1987 to 2008. He blew up the university to where it is today, exponentially failing until he showed up. And he moved this athletic program from D2 to D1. Now, what he also did, he made the York Hill campus, expanded it, created the M&T Bank Arena, invested in athletics, helped put Quinnipiac on the map and put the position that they're in to recruit, especially get players up into that locker room today. And also, my third person, Jacob Quillen. I know you, oh my God, you're sleeping over there. Why? This is a great pick. He got the overtime winner to clinch this national title game for them. Q30 Sports, Clever Strice said in his post-game report, this is the biggest goal in program history. Biggest goal in program history. He had a breakout season this year, played all 41 games, tied for second in goals with 19, fifth in assists with 19, fourth in points with 38 points, leads the team in plus-minus with plus 37, and he also put Quinnipiac in the national spotlight with that goal. I'm not saying Quillen is the best player to come out of Quinnipiac University, but he put this team on the map. My last person is Devon Taves, first alumni to hoist a Stanley Cup. And if Connor Clifton wins the Stanley Cup this year with the Bruins, he has a chance to be up there. But the reason for every single one of my picks is that each one of these people put Quinnipiac in the position that they're in today, with the president putting them on the map by being able to recruit, putting them in the position they are to win a championship. Come on, there's no way you disagree with this.
Stop, John Leahy.
Yes.
You're gonna take a player spot away from a president?
Yes, because he's putting. The question is, who's the Mount Rushmore for Quinnipiac hockey program history? What did they do to contribute to this program? If you're not going to include the person who literally put Quinnipiac in Division I, he hired the athletic director because he wanted to move D1. He did this for the school to put them on the map academically.
You can't put John Leahy there in a place for a player, because the players, in the end, are the ones winning the championship. The championship isn't the John Leahy NCAA championship. He doesn't win it. The players win it. It's a championship for the players. Have a Michael Garrick. Have an Odin Tufto. I'm so glad you mentioned Connor Clifton. He just made the long list, but you can't put John Leahy on an all-time Mount Rushmore.
All right.
That's like me putting Judy Olean on it. She's taking away a spot from the players. You have to put a player on the Mount Rushmore team. You can't put a president there because the players are the integral part of the team.
No, that's a bad. You know what? That's a fair take, but you have to, John Leahy is the reason why Quinnipiac is in the position they are. I understand that you don't want to put. I understand that you don't want you understand that I'm taking a spot away from a player, but the people that are behind the scenes, you have to admit that Rand Pecknold is the reason why Quinnipiac won a championship this year. He's the reason why they came back in that game. The coaching staff that he got is the reason why they won that championship.
Okay.
Credit to the players.
Andrew, okay, but I'm gonna have to agree. I'm gonna have to take Mike's side on this one. I just think he has a better Mount Rushmore.
Oh my God.
So, all right, let's moving on. Zach Metza was the leader and captain of this Bobcat team. With him graduating this year, Andrew, who do you see as his replacement as the captain?
You know what? Hopefully we agree on this, Mike. Jaden Lee will be the captain next year. I mean, he had a great season this past year. He's gonna be a senior. His return is all dependent, really, if he returns for his redshirt grad year. But he's not the best player on the team, but that's not really what the captaincy represents. It really represents being a role model. Yesterday in the press conference and the event yesterday for the rally, he put on the Michael Torello shirt and spoke very well about Michael. Unfortunately, he passed away. He was a big part of the team. And, being a captain is all about being a leader. And Jaden Lee really represents the best of this team.
I got to agree, and I'm very glad that we agree on this one after the last debate. Just to add to your point, 133 games played with Quinnipiac, 13 goals, 34 assists for 47 points. He registered a big assist against Michigan. I'm so glad that we actually can agree on one thing for once. I just think also when you think of a lot of the impact players, you think of a DeYoung, you think of a Lombardi, you think of a Metza. Not that Jaden Lee's not in that conversation, but he's very much an underrated player. You're looking at the stats right there on your screen for Jaden Lee. He's just one of those underrated players that really help gel the team and make them an NCAA champion.
Yeah, I think John Leahy, he has a chance of being the captain next year. What do you think about that?
Because
I really, John Leahy's a big part of the team.
Just because you were wrong last time doesn't mean you have to keep bringing it up.
All right, guys, I think Jaden Lee was both a great choice. All right, we are not done discussing hockey. Like I said before, this is an all-packed men's ice hockey episode, but it's time to take our final break of the night. Don't go anywhere as we discuss the QBSN Call of the Week, and of course, we have our final roars. We will be right back.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Drew, spot me on this last one. There it is. Keep going with it. Leo.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job. I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working. I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
Welcome back. It's time to take a look at QBSN Call of the Week. Down in Tampa this past weekend, we had QBSN's Matt Mugno and Erin Zank on the electric call. Let's take a listen.
Looking in a pass, a move at it, they score! They score! Jacob Quillen has won the national championship for the Quinnipiac Bobcats, the first in their history! The Bobcats have done it all! They slayed the dragon! The Bobcats are going to Hampton, national champions! The 2023 national champions are the Quinnipiac Bobcats! Oh, have mercy! Have mercy! They've defeated the Minnesota Golden Gophers off the draw. Quillen beat it close on a forehand backhand 2-on-1. National champions!
Now the debate has come to an end. Let's get right into our final roars. For tonight, Andrew, why don't you start us off?
Thank you, Brittany. You know, all night we've talked about the game, the future of the program, and the university as a whole. One thing that has really gone under the radar is the impact that the Frozen Four in the championship had on student media. We all just saw Matthew Mugno's fantastic call from the overtime championship victory on Saturday night. That call will undoubtedly go down in QBSN history as well as student media history. Following the game on Saturday, he posted a video of his live call from the OT winner on Twitter, which as of now has over 55,000 views on Twitter and almost 500 likes. Last night, the MSG Network played Matt's electric call prior to the Rangers game. Now, what a way for him to end his student media career with a call of that caliber. And there is also no doubt that he has a bright future in sports broadcasting in the future. Besides the call, the Quinnipiac Chronicle printed a special edition headlined Quinnipiac to bring down to Tampa during the post-game festivities on the ice. It was hard to find a picture that did not have that special edition in hand by the member of the Quinnipiac hockey team. That paper became a memorable part of the night, at least for me. The point I'm trying to make here is that the victory on the ice that happened on Saturday was not only a victory for the hockey team, but also a victory for many members of the Quinnipiac student media organizations on campus. And the content they produce from this event has potentially launched their incredible opportunities and careers ahead of them.
Hockey is a team sport. You have 12 forwards, 6 defensemen, and 1 goalie, which is a regular hockey lineup. But what makes a regular team into a team immortalized with accolades like the NCAA Championship? The key word is mentality and buying into the process and trusting it. Take Quinnipiac, for example. They only have 2 drafted players and played against hockey royalty like Michigan and Minnesota, who both have highly drafted prospects. But what makes Quinnipiac stand out is the players buying into Rand Pecknold's vision and goal and trusting the process, one game at a time. Trust the process and you will see results. The Quinnipiac Bobcats didn't have top NHL talent, but they had a bond in a team that meshed together and trusted the process over the 3 to 4 year window that Rand Pecknold built for these Bobcats. When it comes to having a team mentality and playing for the logo on the front and not the back, the legendary Ray Shiro's quote comes to mind: "Win today and walk together forever."
After doing a full men's ice hockey episode, it only seemed right to do my final roar about the team. Before I came to Quinnipiac, I never enjoyed watching hockey. My family tried to get me to watch, but I always thought it was boring. Boy, was I wrong. When I went to my first hockey game on campus, it amazed me. It was the first athletic event I went to on campus where I saw students come out and show support. The environment made it fun to watch and learn the game. Ice hockey brings the community and school together. Experiencing my first Yale game is something I'll never forget. The arena was packed, and I've never seen such a long line to enter the bank. This weekend, watching the game, all you could hear on ESPN are all the Quinnipiac fans yelling. Hockey is what gives Quinnipiac its school spirit. All right, guys, so before we end tonight, as the season has come to an end, what do you see as the future for these Bobcats?
You know what, Reynolds? I'll take it because I personally think I won this debate, but that doesn't matter.
Okay, you're crazy. You're crazy for that.
Well, sometimes you got to be crazy to win, which I don't know.
But you weren't.
For the future of the team, I think Quinnipiac is quite all right. They have a lot of good players coming in. Over the last couple of days, as I quickly just looked down, Cooper Moore, he was from the University of North Dakota. They have Davis Pennington from the University of Omaha. Travis Treeler, who Clever and I saw at the NCAA regional in Bridgeport. He was a great player for Ohio State. And finally, Jake Morton from the Green Bay Gamblers. I think they're more than okay. I know you alluded to the dynasty, and it's very well possible with some of these transfer people coming in from the portal.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the future. Let's kind of talk about the history. You know, this year, Colin Graff came in from Union. Jake Johnson came in from RPI. Both of those players have been incredible for this team. Produced a lot of Jake Johnson, first D pair with Zach Metza, and then Colin Graff. Incredible impact, his most goals on the team this year, and then also Jacob Nordquist, he came from Lake Superior, So all the transfers have really started to, contribute to this team, and I think in the future can expect a lot from them.
Well, guys, I think you made great points. Well, our hockey episode has come to an end, but be sure to stick with us on Twitter and Instagram at Q30Sports, and check out our website at q30tv.com/wash to never miss another episode of Bobcat Breakdown. From the producers to everyone behind the scenes, this is Andrew and Mike. I'm Brittany, and have a great rest of your night, Bobcats, and congratulations to the national champs.